Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. So the final round of payments that are going to be sent out by the Social Security Administration are going to be arriving today for certain beneficiaries. We're going to be going over who can expect to receive those payments. Plus, if Kamala Harris defeats Donald Trump this November and becomes the next president of the United States, we're going to be going over 5 different changes that we might see under her leadership. We'll be covering that as well. But before we go ahead and dive into the main content of today's video, if you wouldn't mind helping me out real quickly by just giving this video a like, that just helps out with the good old YouTube algorithm. And also consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already. Plus, if you would like to receive up to $200 in free stock or $200 in free cash, in a pinned comment below, I will be leaving a link to Robinhood. All you have to do is once you click on that link is just sign up for a free account and then simply link your bank account. You do not even have to make an opening deposit. At that point in time, Robinhood will be sending you one free stock worth all the way up to $200. And if you'd rather just have the cash, all you have to do is once you receive the free stock is just sell it for what it's worth and then transfer the cash value right back to your bank account. Okay, so diving right into our first story of today's video, and that is the fact that a recent poll did come out by Reuters, and Kamala Harris, believe it or not, is actually now leading Donald Trump in that particular poll by 2 points. We're going to be covering that right now. So once again, this is according to Reuters. So they say that Vice President Kamala Harris opened up a marginal 2 percentage point lead over Republican Donald Trump after President Joe Biden ended his re-election campaign and passed the torch to her. That compares with a marginal 2-point deficit that Biden faced against Trump in last week's poll before his Sunday exit from the race. The new poll, conducted Monday and Tuesday, followed both the Republican National Convention, where Trump on Thursday formally accepted the nomination, and Biden's announcement on Sunday that he was leaving the race and endorsing Harris. So 2 points isn't necessarily a huge lead. It is within the margin of error, but it is something to say that Biden actually was losing by 2 points in that same exact poll to Trump just a couple of weeks ago. And now that he's replaced, Harris is actually now leading Trump by 2 points. Although, of course, if we look at all the polls across the board, there's been right around 60 plus polls out there between Trump and Harris. Trump, on average, is leading Kamala Harris. Of course, a lot of things can change, and I think the debate is going to be the big thing. Who is going to look the strongest? Who is going to look the most sane? Is it going to be Trump or is it going to be Harris? That's going to show a lot. So we'll have to keep an eye out when their upcoming debate is. It going to be in September? Trump has signaled that he wants to have 2 debates, but he's also signaled that he no longer wants to have the debate on ABC because he thinks they're going to be very biased towards Kamala Harris. Now, if Kamala Harris actually does indeed win against Trump in November, we're going to be going over 5 different changes that could possibly take place under her leadership to Social Security. So according to Go Banking Rates, the first change is to tax higher income. So much of the debate about Social Security centers on its uncertain future. The program's Old Age and Survivors Insurance Trust Fund is expected to run out of money within the next decade, leaving Social Security solely dependent on payroll taxes. Those taxes currently cover only about 77% of benefits. To address the OASI shortfall, the Biden-Harris administration has proposed a 4-point plan that would mostly impact high earners who can depend on their retirement savings to get by. One key feature of the plan is the following: that is to tax earned income above $400,000, leaving wages between $168,600 and $400,000 untaxed. In 2024, any wages above $168,600 are not taxed, up from $160,200 in 2023. So basically, someone who earns $168,600 per year is going to be paying the exact same amount of taxes as far as payroll taxes go, the money that then goes into the trust fund, as someone who earns, let's say, like $25 million per year. So she wants to lift that cap, make it so income between $168,600 and $400,000 is untaxed, but then once again, any income earned above $400,000 would then once again be taxed at the payroll tax rate of 6.2 to 12.4%, depending whether you're self-employed or whether you are an employee for like a company or something like that. Now, the second thing that could possibly change is that she might be changing the cost of living adjustment formula. So another Biden-Harris administration proposal is to change the calculation for determining annual Social Security cost of living adjustments, so they are no longer based on the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers. The White House favors basing the COLA on the Consumer Price Index for the elderly, which senior advocates say does a better job of accounting for changes in healthcare expenses. So that might be another change that she tries to make. Although certain years the CPIW is actually higher than the CPIE, so a lot of people say that they should take both of these numbers, and whichever number is higher, if the CPIW is higher, they go with the CPIW, whereas if the CPIE is higher, in that year they would go with the CPIE. So a lot of people are saying that they should go with that method. Now the third change is to raise the primary insurance amount, which of course is a figure that shows how much money you'll receive in Social Security benefits based on the age you begin claiming benefits and your average index monthly earnings. The Biden-Harris team has proposed raising the PIA for Americans ages 78 to 82 to help them deal with rising costs later in life. So whenever you start receiving Social Security, whether that's at the bare minimum age of 62, or if you wait all the way until the age of 70, at that age, you'll receive what you normally will, and then every single year after that, you'll be receiving your normal cost of living adjustments. But what she and Biden are proposing, and other politicians in D.C. are proposing, is that once you then reach the age of 78, you'll receive an additional boost of like 0.5 to 1% more each and every year, all the way up until you reach the age of 82. Because as you get older, obviously healthcare expenses rise and things like that. So each year from 78 to 82, on top of your cost of living adjustment, if there is one, you'll also receive an additional 0.5 to 1% in those years. Now, the fourth change that might take place is to raise the special minimum benefit for lifetime lower wage workers. So low wage earners receive a special minimum Social Security benefit regardless of how much money they made while working. For 2024, the special minimum benefit starts at $50.90 a month for someone with 11 years of Social Security coverage, and goes to $1,066.50 for workers with 30 years of coverage. Smart Asset reported another Biden-Harris administration proposal is to increase the minimum benefit to 125% of the federal poverty level for an individual. So with someone that has 30 years of coverage, in that case, that would work out to an increase of right around $500 per month. So obviously someone who right now is receiving the special minimum benefit is receiving an amount that's well below the federal poverty level if this change were to take place. And again, in this case, you'd be receiving 125% of the federal poverty line, which would be 25% above the federal poverty line. Now, the last change that might be implemented if she does become the next president of the United States and she gets her way and these things are able to pass through Congress is to hike the SSA funding. So for 2025, the Biden-Harris administration said it would increase the Social Security Administration's funding 9% from 2023 enacted level, Newsweek reported. The aim is to improve customer service at SSA's field offices and bolster state disability determination services, teleservice centers for retirees, and service for individuals with disabilities and their families. Now, once again, for all this to take place, not only is Kamala Harris going to have to defeat Donald Trump in November, but Democrats are probably more than likely going to have to win the House as well and then take a pretty good majority in the Senate. For these things to pass, they are going to need at least a majority in the House and then at least 60 votes in the Senate, unless they're able to somehow nuke the filibuster as well, where they would no longer need to reach the 60 vote threshold in the Senate, or they would have to gain Republican support in some way, because a lot of these proposals may not necessarily have Republican support, especially the ones where they are raising taxes. Now, in some other news, of course, the Social Security Administration today are going to be sending out the final round of payments this month in July. We are going to be covering who can expect to receive those payments. They are going to be worth all the way up to $4,873 for those eligible for the maximum payment. So according to Newsweek, Social Security benefits are paid every month to beneficiaries, with tens of millions of Americans paid each month. As the funds are managed and administered by the federal government, not everyone is paid on the same date due to the sheer amount of money being paid and a high number of recipients. So basically, beneficiaries born between the 21st and 31st of any given month in the year will receive their Social Security retirement check on Wednesday, July 24th. And as they mentioned there, the maximum monthly benefit is $4,873 and is likely to increase in 2025 due to the cost of living adjustment. Last year, the adjustment resulted in a 3.2% increase in benefits for SSI recipients as of December 2023 and for Social Security beneficiaries as of January of this year. For individuals who retire in the year of 2024, the highest retirement benefit is only on the table for those who retire at the age of 70. If you opt to start receiving retirement benefits at 62, in that case, the earliest possible age, your maximum benefit would be $2,710. So once again, if you were born between the 21st and 31st of any given month, your payment date would be today. So you can expect to receive your monthly Social Security check today from the Social Security Administration. So that's all we have for today's video. Certainly hope you enjoyed and found value out of it. If you did, again, I would greatly appreciate if you could give this video a like. Consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already, and I will see you in the next video.